Okay, so I've gotten a few questions about, I briefly mentioned that my car got stolen. I'm pretty sure I know who it was that did it, but I've gotten a few questions, like some people didn't know that my car ever got stolen. Some people wanted to know who I was talking about. Some people just were curious. So I'll tell you the story. This was back, it was before me and Jared got married, but we were together. I know we were dating because it was when I was going to Grace University, and me and Jared started dating the summer after I moved back from Chicago. Oh my gosh, there's so much gunk on my eyes, I'm so tired. During this time in my life, I was very busy. I was taking 18 credit hours, and I was working like a regular of 65 hours a week, sometimes more. And the reason for that was when I worked at the movie theater. Again, I will tell some stories about that someday because it was like the best time of my life. But I was taking too many classes, and it was just bad. So all my classes were in the morning. My classes started at 7:30 in the morning, and I would get out around 11, and then I would sleep from about noon until 4, and then I would work from 5:30 until like 4:30 in the morning. It was horrible, okay? I loved that job. I did not like my classes. That was when I thought I was going to be an elementary school teacher. I don't know what I was thinking. So what had happened was, it was a Monday night, and I had closed at the movie theater like always because I couldn't do the day shift. I parked my car in the driveway at the ungodly hour of who knows what time in the morning. I went to bed. Next morning, my mom came and woke me up because I was too tired to get myself out of bed, which happened a lot more than I remember now that I look back on that time of my life. My mom was basically my alarm clock. I was not getting sleep. This was also, just a little side note, this was also when we were planning our wedding. We were getting married, I think, later that year. My mom doesn't like when I say this, and I'm not really sure why. She planned my wedding. I mean, everything she did, she had it, she came and she brought it to me. She planned it. It was beautiful. My wedding was everything I ever imagined it to be, and then some. She did an excellent job. Anyway, she came and woke me up. I remember walking out to my car, or to the driveway, I should say, with my backpack and my coffee in one hand, and I remember just standing there thinking, where the heck's my car? And I was running late too. Now, this was when, I don't remember the actual classes, but I had 2 classes in a row with the same teacher. Anyway, I was sitting there, and I turned around, and I go back inside and said, Mom, did you move my car? And she said, no. And I said, I parked it in the driveway last night. She goes, I don't know, I was already in bed. And so then I started thinking, did I park it in the driveway? It was kind of late. I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I parked it somewhere else. At this point in my life, also, me and my little brother weren't getting along super well. We were just going down different paths, we will say. And so I thought maybe he moved it, because, I mean, who knows, he was full of angst at the time. And so I said, did Marcus move it? And she said, I don't think so. Why? What do you mean? I said, my car's not in the driveway. She goes, well, you probably parked on the street. I said, well, it's not there either. It's like slowly hitting me that my car is gone. Like, somebody took my car. And also, to put this in perspective, I had a 2000 Honda Civic. This car, if it was too cold, it wouldn't start. You had to jump in. It was a piece of junk. Now, I did love that car. I love that car. The only reason I stopped driving it, I'd still be driving it today, but it got totaled. I realized that my car was missing, and it was at this, I couldn't even be mad. I was like, there's no way somebody stole that car. Like, of all the cars to steal, little Charlotte, that's what I called her. I said, there's no way. So I'm kind of laughing, and I said, Mom, I think somebody stole my car. And so she was like, and the whole thing, we just couldn't believe it. I guess we should call the police. You know, I went to go to class this morning, my car's gone, I think somebody stole my car. They said they'd send an officer out. I text my professor, I say, hey, I'm not gonna be in class today, somebody stole my car. Just like weird, it was weird. I also texted my boss because of course I had a shift that night. It was $5 Tuesdays, and I said, I'm gonna do everything I can to be there, but I don't have a car right now. Somebody stole my car. I'm waiting on the police officer to show up, and my mom says, I'm going to do a quick loop around the neighborhood. There were some like kind of sketchy apartments down the street from us. other than that, our neighborhood was pretty chill. While she was away, the police officer showed up, and I started telling him about it. I said, it's 2000 Honda Civic, it's silver. There's a Ohio State Buckeyes decal on the back. And I mean, I just like couldn't even believe it. And I was like, there's literally nothing special about it. And I was telling him about my car, and my mom comes down and she goes, I think I found it. I said, you think you found my car? She goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's up the street in the cul-de-sac. And this is in the opposite direction of the Skeezy Apartments. And so I was like, okay. I get in the car with my mom, and the police officer gets in his car, and we drive up the road, and sure enough, there's that Charlotte. And one of the reasons I could tell it was her was because my Buckeye sticker was gone, but there was a clear outline of where the dirt stopped from where my Buckeye sticker was. And I said, yeah, this is it. When we opened that door, just the unmistakable stench of marijuana came bursting out like horses at a race. I mean, it was so strong. And the cop looked at me like I was the reason it smelled like that. And he goes, is that yours? I said, no. I have never, I will never smoke weed. I said, that's not mine, I swear. A lot of people, when I say I've never smoked weed, they seem kind of surprised by that. I don't really know why. I think it's kind of funny because all the potheads that I know are super nice and like fun to be around. And I'm not condoning pot by any means, but all the potheads I know, they're like some of my favorite people. And so when people assume that I smoke weed, it just makes me think that I'm just likable. Anyway, I never smoked weed. It was not my weed in the car. And the cop was like, okay. And that's when I discovered that all my CDs were missing. Everything was missing that mattered except for MCR and Panic at the Disco. Bless these people who have bad taste in music. And also, why did you steal my car? Don't know. There were these two people that I worked with at the movie theater. One of them, I think he had feelings for me. I don't think it was him. I think it was his friend. And I think his friend was mad at me because at this time, I think me and Jared were engaged. And so I think he was just like retaliating because I didn't like his friend back or something. I don't really know. But I know this person, and I know that's something that they would do. I also know that they smoke weed. They're not like the friendly pothead. They're like the crazy pothead. That's how my car got stolen. And then, of course, I showed up for my second class. My teacher thought I was lying about my car being stolen because how in the world would we find my car in 20 minutes? Well, we did. It does sound kind of crazy. And then I was able to go to work that night, and I was like, yeah, we found my car. It was just up the street. You know, and then another thing about the movie theater, besides the fact that my car got stolen, and I'm pretty sure it was by somebody I worked with at the movie theater, weird stuff happened to my car all the time. Like somebody unlatched my hood, and so like while I was driving, my hood came up, and it was somebody at the movie theater. Another time, and this, I don't think this next thing was somebody at the movie theater. I think it was something that some punk kid did because it happened to numerous coworkers. But they loosened all the lug nuts on my tires, and so while I was driving, my tires almost fell off my car. And most of the time my dad, he was pretty understanding about the fact that I worked with a lot of high schoolers, a lot of potheads. But the lug nut one, that one really got him fired up. He was ready to go and fight somebody and check cameras, but I mean, I lived. Andy lived, Andy Pieper. It happened to him, his car, all his lug nuts were loosened. But anyway, that's the story about how my car got stolen. That's how we found it. It was just up the street. My mom vacuumed it out like crazy, and she sprayed so much Febreze in there. She said, you are not going to show up at Grace University smelling like marijuana. Like the entire sports team didn't smoke it already. Whatever. Yeah, that was little Charlotte. So I had her for a whole other good year. And by good, I mean she was around. It was not a good year. I did have to start her almost every day in the winter. I confronted one of the people involved and who I think had a part of it. He swears up and down he didn't do it, but he did not say anything about his friend, who was the one I was pretty sure did it in the first place. And just based on the fact that it wasn't damaged, that it was just up the street, they did know where I lived, they did know I didn't lock it. The fact that it was covered in weed. There are just lots of reasons that I'm pretty sure it's them. And I'll never know for sure, but I'm about as positive as you can be without knowing something. So I love story times. Those are my favorite kinds of YouTube videos to watch. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton, but if I think of any, I'll post them because everybody needs a good story time every now and then. And I'm almost to work. I hope you all have a great day. I don't want to work today. It's a Saturday, but here we go.